the game proceeds nonetheless with a bit of maneuvering and shuffling. And one of the plans, you know, yeah, I'm just trying to reduce his counterplay by just blocking off his ideas. And that's why he's trying to get a little bit juicy with these side swiping moves. But the good thing about the side swiping move is it allows my knight to go here and attack the spawn because I don't have to worry about defending this pawn right now. And now with his queen here, I can already go right away. At least earlier, with his queen eyeing that pawn, I wouldn't be able to go there yet. But now I can go immediately. So he's making a lot of moves which are helping me. All right. And that's not good if you're trying to win the game. But I'm not complaining. Because look at this queen. Look at this queen right in the middle of the board, holding on to everything, keeping the position solid, rock solid. This is a great position for white. I mean, the symmetry, the sacred geometry that on play here is just astounding. And look at this move, bishop f1, elegant, elegant, and it was the best move. It really was the best move in the position. The idea behind this is to just make room for the rook and this rook and triple down on this file. Just crack down on that pawn, which is a target. It's a really big target. So he's trying to instead reverse the masala on the other side of the board. But I'm not going to play ball. I'm just going to keep it balanced. I'm going to keep it symmetrical. And now here he senses the pressure building up here and he wants to double up himself. But actually, in this very moment, I could probably play b4. And that would cause him a few headaches because he can't take it as I have queen captures the undefended rook. So as tempting as it was to play it, however, I ended up going with what I already understood the position really strongly, is that I just want to get these three rooks here because even if he goes there, and even if he brings his bishop here, it's not enough to handle the b4 pawn push. So with everything in my favor, I'm just going to play the simple strategy rather than make it a bit messy by doing it a bit early here because this rook would be in a kind of awkward square as well. So I played a more simple, balanced approach, which I think highlights some of my wisdom and experience of playing a lot of these type of games. You got to take your time. So look at the amount of pressure I've built up here. It's just visually tremendous. He's played a nice little sleeky move here. But the point is, knight takes pawn with a check, and it then allows him to win the bishop. Because my king wouldn't even be able to go here because of the knight, which would be guarding these two squares. So interesting little trick, and I just stepped out of the way. Just stepped out of the way. And he had to go back. So now he's got all his pieces defending the pawn, but it's still not enough. Boom, b4, crack it open. And he knows he's got to do something, so he does something a bit wild here. And I just simply en passant, takes back, and boom, big center, double passed pawn in the middle. This is a one game for white. It's just simply a one game. So at this point, I decide it's already time to start liquidating. This knight this queen has to be swapped off now because the knight is under too much pressure. So queens come off the board, and the position just is really good for white. However, there's still a bit of work to be done. I have to hold on to this pawn chain. Very important to hold on to this pawn chain. And this pawn, I mean, for all money, it's a dead pawn already. So I'm not worried too much about it. I'm just instead simplifying the position a little bit and, keeping things under control. Here he's starting to harass me a little bit, and I thought of different cute ideas like bishop here and bishop here, but ultimately I thought let's just keep it very simple and mobile, because from here he can go in a number of different squares if need be, and even the king could come and defend. So yeah, so this is the position, and it's just very, very simple right now. Look at it, it's super solid. Double passed pawn and a very safe position. So a lot of simple developing moves. But now, of course, he's got to activate his rook. He's got to do something. And I just don't want to deal with too much pressure, so I just shuffle back and keep this rook behind the pawn, blocking the rook's checks and just keeping it solid. But I see that his king and knight making a very strong bind on the position. They're going to make it very difficult for me to actually muscle through here. The knight is one of the best defenders against pawns, especially pawns which are in the center of the board. So best of luck trying to crack through this gate here. It ain't gonna happen. And that's why I played the move rook c1. The idea being to take the rook here and start to harass these pawns on the other side of the board, which is what I start to do. And now, of course, I have to be careful. I have to be aware of these counterplay possibilities for him. It can get very tricky over here. For example, right over here, I could have maybe gone here, and that would have allowed him to fork the two pieces. All sorts of problems. And even right here, I could go here or here. In both cases, I'm dealing with a fork. So very tricky, but I mean, at my level, this is easy. This is easy. Here, I was very pleasantly surprised that he took off the rooks because any mid-level player will tell you rooks help you to draw a game. When the rooks are on the board, the drawing odds are much, much, much higher. You don't want to dilute rooks away if you're trying to save the game. So why did he do it here? Well, I believe he thought he had just such a good locked up setup here that he could build a fortress that I would not be able to crack through, even if I have the extra pawns. I think this was his belief, but I'd already seen through all of this, and I knew that these pawns here, this is not blocked up. This is not a blocked up situation. I'm going to be able to crack through over here with the help of the bishop. So that's why I just slowly maneuver my pieces. And this is a critical move to make, h4. You don't want to play g4 here. The reason being is because then he can play h4 and this pawn becomes rather difficult to access. And hence the draw actually might be on the cards then. So this h4 move is really critical to freeze this pawn here and then harass him with g4, forcing some action, which a bishop will be able to take back, and then the other pawn up, forcing some more action. In other words, blowing these two pawns off the board, this pair of pawns. And that would allow my king to come into the action. So that's kind of what happens in the game. We just blow the pawns off the board. My king comes in the game, and he's running out of squares, and then he traps his knight. Knight has no squares to move, so he resigns. Anyway, that's the game, and now I'm in the 2000 level club. Congratulations to everyone who has been on this journey with me, who has seen my ups and downs and has learned from my mistakes. So I couldn't have done it without you, and I just want to say a humble thanks to everyone who has helped to make this channel as great as it is. If you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, click the subscribe button right now. It's free, it's good, it's entertaining. Why not?